right, hello. So I'm gonna show you guys how to install FSR3 mod. Um, I'm kind of excited because I just figured out how to get the vsync issue, like the screen tearing, because most of you probably don't have variable refresh rate, AMD FreeSync, G-Sync. So there's a way to force vsync, and you have to actually make sure it's the same exact frame rate as the FSR is hitting. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that real quick. All right. So we're going to switch over to the main PC. Yeah, I'm going to pause these because I don't want to bottleneck the congestion for the stream, because I'm going to end up turning this into a video. Okay, so first thing you want to do, yeah, I definitely need to close some things. Okay, first thing you want to do is go to this link, which will be in the description of the video. DLSS-G to FSR3 replace NVIDIA DSS-G frame gen with FSR3 frame gen. Okay, so you just go log in, get the newest version. This one seems to be the most stable, and it works with the two games I'm going to be testing is Cyberpunk and Hogwarts Legacy. I already logged in. Surprise is making me log in again. Okay. So go to downloads. Free download. And you're going to see the folder up here. And then you're going to drag that folder out into your desktop. Open it up. And then you're going to drag, your first thing you want to do is disable registry signature checks. And then we're going to copy the files. So I just do this way, hold control, drag them out. So first thing you want to do is locate your game, which you want to install the mod. It's basically supported for only games that use frame gen, so, and FSR3 support. So you have to make sure that they have both of those updates. So we're going to go to installed files, browse. Okay. Oh, it's already open. So here's the thing. I put these file folders in the location for this application, but there's another one. Oh, not that one, sorry. Then Phoenix, binaries, Windows 6. I put it in here too because I'm not sure which one's the actual one. I just as a fail safe wanted to make sure that they're in the same. So, and this one actually has nvgx.dll. Now that's also what you need to drag in. You need these folders and the nvgx.dll. So that's all three. My bad. Make sure you have every single one on your desktop. Not sure why. Oh, there it is. FSR3. These two folders. They work universally within each game. So now we're going to show you the same setup, but for Cyberpunk 2077. Okay, so we're going to locate the game. Actually, no, that's not where mine's located. Okay. This PC, find your Steam folder. Because this one is custom added. That one is not the launcher version, because I don't like having to go through the launcher for it. Cyberpunk 2077, bin, x64, and you're going to drag the same folders into here. Okay, so you're going to look for, well, you know what, I'm confident enough because I've tested this already. DLSS FSR3, DLSS and NVGX, all three folders. Okay. And that's about it. So I was getting like frame drops around 40 FPS in Hogwarts Legacy. So I'm just going to launch it. And you shouldn't, this one should not require any further setup. If you have any kind of prompts, you probably have an older version of the mod, which should have like a little prompt window to click OK before you start. This one just works without it. I want to do this one first because it takes a little bit longer to launch. Cyberpunk is much quicker. But the performance is slightly different for some reason. Because I was getting average 30, but I do get some drops in Cyberpunk, but I don't get as many in this one because it was already above 30 on native resolution at max settings. And this was just to hide, the reason I added this mod was to hide the drops for when I stream the game while I'm running through the hallways. Because I don't want to see that. I don't want to see like a 40 FPS like drop. I just want it to stay at 60. And I'm going to also show you guys how to set up forced vsync. Okay. So to make sure it's working, go to your frame generation should say on automatically. VSync should say off, and it should be grayed out. These are the two things you should see. This one does allow low latency boost, but Cyberpunk doesn't with this mod. So that is one of the differences. But also this one is in windowed full screen. There's no full screen mode for it. There genuinely isn't. So here we go. Let me just kind of showcase it because I just wanted to lock it at 60. That is one of the telltale ways to know if the mod is working, is if it never drops. But also I locked it at vsync so I can hide the screen tearing, because there's no way to enable vsync. You have to create a new way to lower the latency at the same time without having tearing. So usually through the hallways you'll see, like, you know, a stutter, but I'm not getting any of those. Okay, I'm gonna run through a more intensive area. I can't go through there. So it's like a 3 FPS drop there, but that was much more intense. It would go down to like 50. That's usually just with loading. This feels all right. It's a little chuggy sometimes, but because of it's the frame gen that's covering the the missing frames, and then the latency will increase, but it still is masking those drops and it doesn't feel as harsh. That is what this really is benefiting for me. I don't need more frames, I just need it to be stable and consistent compared to what it was before. Okay, so I'm going to close this. Okay, now let's try Cyberpunk. And this is with path tracing. This is on a RTX 2060 graphics card. I forgot to mention the fact the 2060 on the G7 7500 with a i7 10750H. So you can look up those specs. Usually you cannot run Cyberpunk with path tracing. So I had to do a few workarounds with this. Specifically with FrameGen mod, I have this set to 1600 by 900, and it's at vsync off, obviously. I also limited the frame rate, but it does still overshoot the frame rate back to 60. For some reason, this lowers my latency. Also, we're in full screen. I don't know if switching it helps, but I'm not going to switch it because I will get crashes because I locked the video settings. Here's why. I said vsync is on even if it says it's off. And that is one of the fixes. Okay, we're on performance DLSS, path tracing. Okay. Also, I like the launcher version and disabling the controller so I can see the PS4 controls. So we're getting around 57, 60 in this area. I have Phantom Liberty. I will be playing that soon in my streams if you guys want to subscribe and check that out. We're going to be playing that in Hogwarts Legacy with FrameGen mod on. And I'm not getting any screen tearing, same thing. It's a little juddery. There is some artifacting, but it still works. It's I'd say a bit chuggier than Hogwarts Legacy, but that's only slightly. It does drop a little bit in combat scenarios, like right here, but not nearly as bad as it used to. It would drop down to 40, 45. And that was just with CPU limitations, but it still hides that. Without FrameGen mod, I'm getting roughly 25 to 30 FPS. This is doubling the frame rate, literally doubling it. With Hogwarts Legacy, I'm getting roughly maybe 40 or more on native res. So there's a big difference, and it's just up capping it. It's not doubling it. It's just raising it from maybe 50, those 40 drops. That's usually where it hovers around, back up to 60, giving me an extra 10 frames. This is doubling it, giving me an extra 30 frames. So there is a big difference here. But both games are roughly giving me 60 FPS. And that's really all I'm looking for, because all you guys are going to see is 60 frames a second on my streams. So if I'm only worried about that frame rate because that's what you're seeing, then that's really what I'm going for. Okay, so the way to mask and hide vsync or to force vsync is you need to set the refresh rate to 60 hertz. I didn't know this. I thought, okay, I can play at 120 hertz, no problem. No, it all needs to sync up to the same exact refresh rate. There may be other methods to making this better, like going into launch commands setting your frequency and refresh rate to 60 instead of 120. I will do some testing with that to see if that helps. But also you need to go into your custom NVIDIA settings. So I'm going to go to desktop. You're going to want to download NVIDIA Profile Inspector. Okay. Right here. You're going to go to GitHub. This will also be in the description. And you're going to go get the zip file. Okay. Open the zip file. Double click. Click run. Click yes. And we're going to do these two changes to Cyberpunk and Hogwarts Legacy. And these are really important to eliminating screen tearing without vsync. And most people tell you you need vsync or you need some way to fix it. Turn off the G-Sync overlay first. Lock the frame rate to 60. Make sure you follow the instructions exactly as I tell you. Put the pre-render frames to 1. Only 1. Because if it goes over, it'll desynchronize the frame rate. I'm not sure why it does that, but it does. Vertical sync, force on. Forced. Meaning no matter what, it's going to override. Meaning it still is enabling vsync or trying to. I'm not sure why that works because I tested it without and I tested it with. And there is a slight latency increase, but it does help the pacing. Then we're going to scroll down to the bottom here. And you want to make sure that your maximum is set to 0. I like to limit the AA samples for some games. Set this to 0. For some reason, with AA samples being limited, it has some kind of it over buffers the frame buffer somehow. Like they're not queued correctly. I'm not sure why, but just make sure it's set to 0 if you have set that. And then you're going to turn variable vsync CVR control to enable 001. So this is like a variable refresh rate system. So it's not just locking the refresh rate, it's adjusting it slightly to accommodate. Okay? And that's really all you got to do. You got to do the same thing to Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy. See, variable refresh rate on. Forced on, 60 FPS, same thing. Okay. Another trick is locking your go to documents, lock your settings. That's not in here. So we're gonna do. I gotta find my save file. Hold on. We're going to go to users. And then we're going to go to save games. No, that's not. I think they're all in percent app data. Yeah. Local. And then you're going to find Hogwarts Legacy, saved, config, Windows No Editor, user settings, right here. Okay. And we're going to find the following command. vsync true. So edit the file, it should say false. Set it to true, like this. And then click save. Don't touch any of the other settings. And then you're going to go to properties and you're going to click read only, meaning it can't be adjusted. It can't be modified. So your video settings are locked no matter what you do. That's important. Basically, it's telling the game no matter what happens, vsync is on. This is just kind of forcing it, basically. Even if vsync might not be working properly, this is just giving me more of a benefit. Also, I enable triple. If you enable triple buffering in NVIDIA settings, that also might help. Okay. CD Projekt Red, Cyberpunk, user settings. Edit, find, vsync. Okay. I set user settings, video quality. It should say off. Set it to on right here. Click save. Properties. This one will cause a crash if you try to modify the settings in game. Guaranteed. So if you want to modify any settings in game, disable read only, change them, then turn vsync back on, and then click save, and then click read only again. So that's really kind of all it is. Another thing I think you could try to find, no, sorry. I don't know if you can have this file. You can adjust direct 3D or no, direct draw and set your refresh rate, forced refresh rate to 60. If that helps. I've never tested this. This is something I might just run real quick just to see what it does. I'm going to try this in Hogwarts Legacy. What I'm going to do, because I really want to see how low the latency I can get it. Properties. So that just shows you everything I know. Now we're going to untested waters here. This is going to get a little exciting. 60. Same thing over here. 60. We're just going to give that a quick test. I wouldn't recommend doing these settings to any other games. You're not going to need to. It's like they're able to handle it. If they are lagging, I hope for in the future that they release a frame gen mod for basically every game. Just patch it in. That would be nice. Also, I'm going to be releasing how to disable HDCP for NVIDIA and AMD in the future so that you guys can be able to stream and run your games a bit smoother. Also, I'm going to show how to do custom driver installs, things like that. Just kind of how I set my stuff up, but it's going to be much more streamlined in the future. So look forward for those types of videos. But also, I'm going to be streaming more games and doing more mental health and art types of videos. So, a little bit of a mix. All right. I'm really curious on what this is going to look like. At least feel. It's going to say 60 frames either way, but I just want to get a feel for it. Imagine it's worse. Like we get in and it's just actually worse. Actually, holy crap. Holy freaking crap. That is much smoother. No freaking way. Okay, it makes sense that the frequency needed to be dropped. But how responsive it is, I can't explain it. You have to actually like be playing the game right now. What the heck? You need to set it to 60 on the NVIDIA settings and the D3D setting, obviously. This is going to be the new way I'm going to set these up permanently. Because I like having ray tracing, okay? I like having max settings. I don't like having to settle. Oh, I've never been up here. Oh, it is so cool. It is so pretty. Wow. I love how there's like unexplored areas. But yeah, we're gonna be doing a Borderlands 3 stream tonight. I'm gonna be starting over with my roommate, and we're gonna be playing that. I might do a little bit of Hogwarts Legacy. That's a maybe. But this is amazing. I love that someone actually just took the time, decoded frame gen. Oh, I've never seen this. What? This is so cool. Oh my gosh. This is different than the stairwells in the... I don't think this is the same area, but it is neat. So yeah, there are different suggestions and methods to fixing, and they say to drop settings, but now that we have, if you have a 20 series card, an RTX 2060 or anything, and I will show you, I will guarantee to show you before we're done with this that I have a 2060. I will confirm that for you. Oh yeah, I can actually tell there's a little bit of latency, but it is actually still locking it. It is just awesome. These are areas that I have seen in this hallway. I've seen it before in gameplay benchmarks, and it does drop. It's in these larger areas that with like lots of NPCs and stuff, they usually have, you know, a little bit of a CPU bottleneck. Okay. Well, that's awesome. I'm really happy with that. Okay. So now you know. Lock it to 60. But just before I go, I'm going to confirm that I have a 2060 right here. RTX 2060. Okay. Also, if I open GPU-Z, RTX 2060 right there, confirmed. So you can achieve that on this card. Also, I do have an overclock, roughly 200 on the core, 600 on the memory. It's pretty decent. It just kind of evens out the frame rate overall. That's about it. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching this tutorial. I hope it helped, and try to apply it to other games. I could not get Dead Space working, Dead Space Remake. I wanted to get this mod tested for that. Then we would have had 3 games tested for FSR mod, but turns out it just doesn't want to work. It just won't let me adjust settings. It has something to do with how it's compiling shaders. I'm just gonna wait till they patch it, because I'm not keen on messing with it constantly until I get it working, and it doesn't work, and I just don't want to have to fiddle in on stream, you know. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, bye.